Podcast. As always, I'm your host, William Liberty, and with me is
Fawwaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And today we got lots of stuff to talk about. We got games with gold. We got Playstaion Plus. We've got awesome trailers. Dark Souls 3, the Accursed trailer. We got Mirror's Edge, City and Narrative. We've got Final Fantasy 15 with a Stand By Me trailer and anime coming soon as a companion piece. We've got Blizzard Censors Tracers butt emote. And yeah, so that's what we got to talk about this week. So before we get in, so I didn't realize a certain game came out a couple days ago. And it's kind of like my guilty pleasure, and it's Hyrule Warriors Legends. So I was like, that came out, and I realized, you get like 5 characters for this game. That you can play on both the Wii U version and the 3DS version if you buy the 3DS version. So I was just like, you know what, screw it. So I bought the 3DS version, and I got the characters for the Wii U version, and all the characters are actually really, really awesome and have very interesting mechanics. Linkle is great.
That's the chick, right?
Yeah, that's the chick with the dual crossbows.
Okay.
And one thing that I really like about her is that she does these crazy like spinning combos where she's shooting like crossbow bolts all over the place. And the thing that I love about it is that every time she finishes her combo, she just stops and you hear this like ka-chunk, which is her like reloading the crossbow. And I really like that. It was like a really like tiny like sound effect that I really, really like a lot. And it's a really fun game. I played the 3DS version, and it's actually a pretty good port. Like it runs smoothly. I mean, the game does not look great, obviously, because it's downgraded from the but it runs smoothly. Pretty much all the features are still there, plus a bunch of new ones. There's a whole new adventure mode in the game, and I'm excited to play more of it. The thing that kind of sucks, though, is that this is the kind of game, though, that it takes a long time to unlock things, and it took me a long time to unlock stuff on the Wii U version, and I'm thinking, man, it's going to be a bit of a grind to get some of the stuff for the 3DS version. But it can be my time killer game, essentially.
Okay.
But overall, pretty good. Had a lot of fun with that. What about you, Fawwaz?
Okay, so I stayed playing Bloodborne for most of the week. I made it pretty far into the Chalice dungeons. I fought the Abhorrent Beast, which was a boss I had seen footage of for a very long time, but I'd never actually fought because I never made it this far into the Chalice dungeons. That boss is hard.
Pretty hard.
Yeah, part of what made it really difficult. Well, first of all, his animations are weird, so it's. Like, apparently he's got a weird dodge timing. So I was having issues dodging his attacks. I actually ran out of blood. Okay, it's such a sad. I got him down to like a pixel of health, but I'd run out of healing items. And then the classic happened. He attacked. I dodged. I tried to hit him, and then he attacked again and killed me. I just switched the game off because I was like, it was like a half-hour fight because I wasn't doing a lot of damage to him, and it broke me a little, but that was pretty cool. I fought him. I tried to get one of these stupid old hunters to help me out, but it was a dumbass. He got killed in like the first 5 minutes of the fight. Seriously, those guys that you can ask for help are useless. They didn't help me with ROM, and they didn't help me with this.
You're talking about the AI ones.
Yeah.
Well, the downside is I think this has been a caveat of all Souls games is that when you call in an AI partner or a partner in general, the
boss's health is increased, right?
Yeah. So.
Oh my God! I was wondering why I was doing so little damage.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you have to sacrifice the ability to kind of draw aggro from one person so that they can heal, but you have to deal with more health. Because that's the biggest thing. Like I was fighting a boss in Bloodborne and I never beat it. It was Ludwig in the DLC.
Oh, you never beat the first boss in the DLC?
Nope. Because I suck. Really bad. The thing that drove me nuts is that like I couldn't fight that boss. I couldn't fight that boss alone. Even though I was doing a lot more damage by myself, I couldn't fight that boss alone because every time I get hit, by the time I get a chance to heal, he'd already be on my toes, and I'd be dead. So I had to bring an old hunter to just draw aggro. And that's all the old hunter wasn't really dealing damage. The point of the old hunter was so that, all right, you need to survive long enough so that I have chances to heal.
Okay. Oh my God, I'm so mad right now because he was, like I said, he was a pixel away from dying. And if I didn't summon that useless old hunter, I mean, all things being equal, I would have probably beat him. My God,
Yeah.
that's upsetting. One other thing is that I'm still trying to get used to the controls because I played The Witcher 3 for a while, and in The Witcher there's two dodges, right? You dodge with O, which is like a short dodge, and then you dodge with X, which is a roll away. So I frequently, whenever I'm trying to create space in Bloodborne, I hit X, and it's like, oh no. Yeah, and then one really funny thing happened because in Bloodborne you hit X, right? But in The Witcher you hit square. So I went to the doll and I was trying to talk to her. I hit X to start the conversation, and then I hit square, and my dude picked up a rock and hit the doll in the face with it. I was like, well, good thing I didn't have Molotov cocktails equipped.
Yeah, damn. That is always the biggest fear, is killing the NPCs that level you up. Luckily, the doll actually does come back if you kill her by accident. Dark Souls 2, the Emerald Herald doesn't. So if you kill the Emerald Herald, you are done fucked.
Oh, that is terrible. But yeah, one last thing. So Street Fighter finally released its March update out of the trial mode. So I played a little bit of Street Fighter. I gotta say, Tanner, my opinion on that game has kind of changed. Yeah, the game Street Fighter 5. Let me see. How do
you put this? All right, here we go.
How do I put this? That game keeps finding new ways to It's actually impressive how the game keeps finding new ways to disappoint me. Seriously. Like, the trial modes are okay. I mean, first of all, I never expected trials to be difficult because Street Fighter 5 the combo system is very loose, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. But like, first of all, it's only 10 trials per character, and a lot of them are really easy. So like that night alone, I beat Bison's trials, I beat Ken's trials, I beat Zangief's trials, and I beat 9 of Kami's trials. And that was like in maybe an hour, probably even less. It took me like 10 minutes to beat some of it. Like Kami's trials, to beat 9 of them, it took me like 10 minutes. They're so easy because there's no links. There's no tight links in this game, right? So yeah. But then what really upset me is the little things. It's the little things that really piss me off, right? Because for going to the trials, it shows you the move names, right? Not the move inputs. So for example, it'll say do a standing medium, a crouching medium, and a Hadouken, right? Now everyone knows what a Hadouken is. But in the case of someone, because there's a lot, in case of a character like Armika, where I don't know the names of her special moves, I gotta go into the options and switch. Because every fighting game has this option where you can switch it from move names to move inputs in the trials, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You do this every single time you load up the trial mode because Capcom still do not know how to make menus that save your options. Unbelievable. The shop also launched. The shop's okay. There's like colors for the characters, and
I'll have to check out the shop because I was curious.
Yeah, I don't. Alex. I think Alex is because Capcom, they couldn't even launch because it's supposed to be like a regular shop. Because you have Fight Money and Zenny, right?
Yeah.
They couldn't launch. They couldn't make the Zenny stuff available at the launch of the shop. So until the Zenny becomes available, I think Alex is going to be available for free, which is pretty cool. Yeah. But the fact that over a month later, they still can't, like, Capcom they failed at adding microtransactions to their game. Like, are you kidding me right now? Are you actually kidding me? They were incapable of programming in microtransactions. That's honestly, how bad.
Is that like something that I really want to be complaining about? Man, I'm so disappointed in Capcom. Jesus.
It just shows their incompetence right now, and it just shows how not ready for launch this game was. For God's sake, their daily challenges still haven't been added yet. We're almost 2 months in. and their daily challenges still haven't been added yet. Because it's this game
Yeah,
was
man,
not ready.
they're getting ready for Evo. It's all gonna be ready for Evo.
Oh my god! This like, and the saddest part about this is that Street Fighter Five is actually a very good fighting game.
Yeah.
I was watching some tournaments and like people were worried that there wouldn't be a lot of depth to the game because the combo system was so loose.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been watching a lot of tournaments and that's not the case at all. First of all, people still drop combos. Like people were like, "Oh, no one's ever gonna drop a combo," and like bullshit. People still drop combos. But like overall, the game is really good. It's a really good fighting game. Terrible video game though. Terrible video game. And yeah, like Street Fighter Five. You heard it here first, by the way. Street Fighter V is the reason why I'm going to start buying games retail because now, so that I always have the option to send the game back. That's how disappointed I am in this game. Right?
And it's funny because my friend asked me like, you always buy games disc, right? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, oh, because you want to you want to be able to trade it back. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I never do because I don't like trading games. And I'm like, okay, then what's the point? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, because for me, the reason why I bought games digital was because I can get them at midnight as opposed to waiting till the next morning. But because of Street Fighter 5, I'm no longer buying games at launch anymore, so that doesn't really matter. And then the other reason was because there was no tax on digital games. I saved $10 every time I bought a game digital, but I don't care anymore. I really don't. If like I keep saying, if I had bought Street Fighter 5 retail, I wouldn't own it anymore. So yeah, I think I'm done. I'm gonna start buying my.
I'm still holding out for Jury.
Oh yeah,
for Jury.
I think she's coming in like August or something like that. So you're gonna be holding out for a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna be holding out for a while.
But yeah, that's enough ranting. Oh wait, no, actually, our first topic of the day is PlayStation Plus. So I guess I'm not done ranting yet.
Yeah.
So have you seen the list? The games with gold and PlayStation Plus.
There are two that I'm kind of interested, but overall it's still a not like stellar list. Mostly it's Dead Star and Zombie for PlayStation 4. I Am Alive and Savage Moon for the PS3, and then 2 games for the Vita, but the Vita doesn't exist anymore. So it's not exactly that relevant. But like I honestly like I've kind of wanted to try out like I Am Alive and Zombie for a while. Like I've always I wouldn't mind playing that game maybe once or twice. But I will say this, it's still not that great of a list. So I'm sure you've got a lot to say about that.
So let me get the good out of the way first. I want to give them credit. I've been shitting on them for giving us nothing but indies, and they gave us a AAA title in Zombie. Sure, it's it's a low key AAA title, but either way,
you gotta give them some credit. Yeah,
I'll give them credit. But yeah, man, like I think part of the issue isn't even that it's just indies that we're getting; it's that the indies are so similar. Like how many top-down isometric shooters have we gotten now?
Yeah, we've gotten a lot.
Yeah, like there's so much variety when it comes to indie games, but for some reason they keep giving us the same types of indie games. It's like the one indie game that they gave us that was like a breath of fresh air was Helldivers, the one that I already owned. It's like, okay, cool. If you're gonna give us indie games, give us give us Shovel Knight, give us shit. What's this game called? Well, I can't think of it off the top of my head. So that's that. But yeah, give us Shovel Knight. Like give it like a lot of these are they're too similar, right? So there is that. But then, like you said, man, on top of that, the Vita's list is so like I don't even know these video games. I've never heard of a virus named Tom and Shoot Shimmy. Like, just cut out the Vita from this thing and then increase the number of PS4 games you give us, because no one cares about the Vita. Let me rephrase that. There aren't enough people that care about the Vita for it to be relevant. Just cut that shit out,
I find it funny because it's more just like the people who have a Vita, they don't care about free games. They just care about any games. So it's kind of like giving them free games is not really selling it on them because they're the people that are going to be buying any game no matter what. Just take those games out and increase the amount of PS4 and PS3 games.
Uh-huh.
Like honestly, like there's a lot of PS3 games that they could be putting on their PlayStation Plus, and I know you'd be like, well, I know you use my PS3, and I'd be like, I don't care. I'd love to see some older PS3 games.
No, I'm fine with that too.
Like,
I'm fine with that.
I don't know. It's just it does kind of suck because it's kind of like we did get a sort of a low key AAA game, which is kind of nice, but it's like. It's still not. I think the other thing that kind of sucks is that the Games with Gold list
is so much better.
Oh, God,
are you kidding me? Wolf Among Us, Sunset Overdrive, Dead Space, and Saints Row. Okay, sure, Dead Space is like almost 10 years old at this point. But first of all, one thing that we're forgetting is that Dead Space is backwards compatible, right?
Yeah.
So like right out of the gate, they already have more Xbox, and I'm not sure if Saints Row is backwards compatible. It either is or it's going to be. Like I'm pretty sure it's either Sunset Overdrive. Like, are you kidding me? That is like a high profile title, right?
It's a pretty high profile game. You also got Wolf Among Us, which is one of the better Telltale games in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I bitch about Telltale games all the time, but if we got Wolf Among Us as the free game, I download it, I play it, and I come on the podcast and bitch about it. But you know, I still appreciate the thought would still be appreciated. Yeah, man, this list is so much better, and Sony really needs to step their shit up. Like seriously, what is it, like a year ago when Games with Gold first launched? We used to come on here and joke about how terrible it was in comparison to PlayStation Plus. Now they're getting Sunset Overdrive, and we're getting Zombie and should Shimmy.
The difference was that like they were doing only like almost 2 games a month or something like that, and then as soon as they increased it, like it became a bit of a game changer, because before it was like, okay, you get 6 games with PlayStation Plus, but you know, some of them might not be that interesting, and some of them might not be interesting at all. But with Games with Gold, you'd maybe get one really interesting game and then one that nobody gave a shit about.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a more even playing ground. But now that Games with Gold has obviously stepped up their game, and they've gotten games like Dead Space and Wolf Among Us and Saints Row 4, like it is making a difference.
It's making a huge difference. On top of that, the backwards compatibility states enough how big of a difference the backwards compatibility makes. Because there are some PS3 games that I didn't download, not because I didn't want them, but because I just wouldn't play them. You know, I barely switch consoles, and whenever I switch, it's because I'm practicing Guilty Gear.
I'm still salty you didn't download Ultimax, man.
I'm salty I didn't download Mass Effect 2. That is probably, I mean, granted, I could probably find Mass Effect 2 for like $5 if I put the effort in. Yeah. But hey, $5 or free. I will take free over $5 any day of the week. So yeah, man, it's. I mean, you know what? Let me play the optimist this time and say that Zombie is a step in the right direction, and Sony are hearing our complaints, because I kid you not, I cannot remember the last PlayStation Plus YouTube video that had more likes than dislikes. It's crazy. Like it's standard now.
Well,
the top comments is actually this one dude was like that. Yeah, he just watches these videos now just to dislike them.
There was one comment that I thought was kind of interesting, and you're probably gonna, say that it was it's fucking bullshit.
It's fucking bullshit.
No,
sorry.
All right, okay. You gotta wait till I say that comment first. But he did make a kind of interesting point where he said, like, he does kind of like that Sony is putting these games that people don't already own, which is, I find kind of funny, but it's kind of like an interesting thing. Like, realistically, I've already played Wolf Among Us, I've already played Dead Space, and I've already played Saints Row 4. I'm glad that they're free, but I've already played them. I haven't played I Am Alive. I haven't played Zombie. I haven't played Dead Stars. So I thought that was kind of a funny point, but I'm sure.
I mean, it's a ridiculous point. And the funny thing is that I saw that point, and I just could not. I just couldn't take the time out to comment on it, because I'm pretty sure you would have seen my comments on that point. Or either that, or I saw someone who said who said the exact same thing in a different post. That's a ridiculous rebuttal. That's an absolutely ridiculous rebuttal. I get where they're coming from with it, but it's absolutely silly.
Yeah, because it's silly.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, man, like with the first of all, it's shit. You know what? I'm never gonna touch. I'm never gonna touch
Yeah,
on
I think
that.
we need to move on to our next
Yeah,
point,
let's just
really.
move on.
Let's
It's
talk about some
ridiculous. I
awesome
don't agree with
trailers.
it.
Some freaking awesome trailers that came out. Dark Souls 3, the Accursed trailer. Holy shit. Freaking amazing. Oh. And every moment in that trailer is like just really, really awesome because you see all the crazy designs. You get to see some of the bosses. Especially at the end, for those who played Dark Souls 1, that looks like the final boss of Dark Souls 1 riding a griffin monster.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, but holy shit. That just made the trailer like so much more intense. And obviously the music.
The soundtrack was so good. Like the soundtrack in all their trailers have been really good. I mean, it's standard from software. I love Bloodborne soundtrack, so no surprises there. But yeah, this trailer was top notch. So I guess you're gonna be picking this up. So I guess I know what you're gonna be playing the week of April the 18th. I think.
No, April 8th.
8th. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'm definitely gonna be picking this up. I'm going to be getting my ass kicked. I know that our good friend Alex is picking up this game as well, so I might just co-op with him and he can beat all the bosses that I can't beat.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Like, because two of the reasons why I never got into the old Souls games was because one, they look like shit, and two, I thought the gameplay was really slow, right? So Dark Souls 3 looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like graphically speaking, aesthetically speaking, it looks so good. However, like I'm still a bit worried about the gameplay, so I'm not sure yet if this game is for me. I'm probably just gonna wait for you to finish with your copy and then see if I can. I can both pretty much do exactly what we did with Bloodborne, right? And then I'll come on the podcast a little bit later. I'll be talking about how Dark Souls 3 is my game of the year. And but yeah,
it's funny because like for me, like when I think of the other Souls games, like Demon Souls in particular is the most janky out of all of them because it was like the first one, and there are stuff in that game that is broken to all hell. But I really do like the original Dark Souls a lot because I still think Dark Souls 1 had the best characters in general. Like, Bloodborne had a pretty good cast of characters, but they were kind of it was a smaller cast. Right? And with Dark Souls, there was a bigger cast, but it was a bigger quality cast, and I freaking love Sigmire. Sigmire from Dark Souls 1 was the best. He's known as the Onion Knight, and he is the best.
The Onion Knight?
Yeah.
There's a character in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I know. I made that connection before.
But that's cool, man. Sorry, you weren't done yet?
But yeah, no. I just wanted to say, like, it was just pretty cool stuff, and I'm excited for when this game comes out.
You know what I really want to know? I really want to know where From Software goes from here. Because I mean, obviously, there's gonna be a Bloodborne 2 at some point.
Probably.
But in terms of the Souls series, you know, they like Dark Souls 3 feels like the finale to, so to speak, right? I was watching some gameplay and there's a lot of callbacks to the older games in Dark Souls 3 and it also doesn't feel like a series that can go on indefinitely, right? You know,
like you got to mix it up at least a little bit.
Yeah,
it's a kind of game where the series can't continue, but it's the type of genre, I guess you would call it, where I would love to see it in different settings, like how they did it with Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Like Bloodborne
yeah. You can do that. You can play Neo, which is Dark Souls in feudal Japan. You can play Bloodborne, which is Dark Souls in a Lovecraftian horror novel, and you can play Lords of
the
Fallen, which is Dark Souls in a poorly tested video game. So,
man.
So yeah, you know.
Honestly, as silly as it sounds, I kinda would like. It would be cool to see space, because
Space Souls.
I like because they have experience doing a lot of like Gundam games.
Yeah, Armored Core. You actually forget that these are the guys behind Armored Core.
Yeah, and I would love to see a futuristic sort of soulsy kind of game, as like counterintuitive as that sounds. Just because Bloodborne was really refreshing in a lot of ways, because it was like Victorian, right? It was everything that the Order wasn't. So it was like it was so good, and I really like the change in like style and tone. So I would love to see a slightly different take on these kind of games. But
Okay,
we'll have to see.
here's a bit of news for you. Because as you were talking, I was Googling some stuff. And here's a headline on Forbes.com. Hidetaka Miyazaki hints at new From Software sci-fi and mecha games. Well, there you go.
Well, there you go. Either if it's a new Armored Core game, I can't even be mad.
Yeah, this is a headline from August 2015, though, just FYI. So yeah.
It's a bit old, you could say.
It's a bit old, but I mean, I am interested. I'm really interested to see where they go next, and I hope they leave us wanting more with Dark Souls. Anyway, let me not even get into that. I hope they leave us wanting more with Dark Souls. We don't get to the point where it's like, oh, great, it's another Dark Souls game.
Yeah, that's the worry. That's the worry here.
Yeah.
But next, with some more kick-ass stuff, we've got the Mirror's Edge. We got the Mirror's Edge trailer, which is it was actually a pretty cool trailer. It just talked about the city, which is called the City of Glass, and the narrative. And the one thing I really like about this game is just the presentation, and they point this out, is that everything in Mirror's Edge in the city is very clean. It's very crisp. Yeah. So you get these really, really beautiful vistas that you don't really get to see a lot in these types of games. Because a lot of games they do everything's dark and grimy and we're edgy, you know what I mean, like that. So and also just the color palettes that they use in different locations are really, 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 really good. Like and overall, I'm very interested in the game, and I like that they explain that Faith is in prison and she breaks out, so it kind of fits the whole rebellious kind of theme.
Yeah,
of the game.
Yeah. Sorry, were you done?
No, I'm done. But
okay. Yeah, I completely agree with everything you said. The game looks pretty cool. I like the whole time I was watching this trailer, I was like, gosh, why didn't this game launch in February? Because now it's launching in May. And so it's launching alongside Uncharted 4, Doom, Overwatch, Battleborn, and Valkyria Chronicles. So odds are I'm not going to buy this game at launch, which is really unfortunate because the game looks pretty cool. But hey, it's something for me to buy down the line when it's on sale, or one of these months, one of these drier months down the line, or something along those lines. As of right now, my May is looking like Doom and Overwatch. That's oh yeah, and Valkyrie. Oh my god, May is going to be
May is going to be rough.
May is gonna be so rough.
What was I gonna say? But yeah, no, I hope that this game does well, because it does actually look like really good. And plus, it's weird because a lot of people have explained that this is a sequel that a lot of people didn't think was going to happen, because Mirror's Edge wasn't exactly like a crazy hit. It was kind of like a sleeper hit in some ways.
Yeah, it developed a cult following. Yeah.
So I am glad that we did get a sequel, because it's a surprisingly I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think of the word. I want to say not interesting. Unique. I guess unique. Unique game to come from EA.
Yes.
I think some people pointed out the last two very unique games that EA made was Dead Space and Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, it's actually Mirror's Edge and Dead Space came out around the same time, right?
Yeah.
And it was part of EA's EA making a push for creating new IPs. Yeah. Now, Dead Space did a lot better than Mirror's Edge. I bought Dead Space. I didn't buy Mirror's Edge.
Yeah.
Did a lot better than Mirror's Edge. So EA did what EA does best, and they milked the shit out of that franchise and completely ruined it. Yep. So I'm glad to see not only us finally getting a Mirror's Edge sequel, but also a Mirror's Edge sequel that feels like a Mirror's Edge sequel. Dead Space should should have been so much better than what EA turned it into, but that is a discussion for a whole other
For
podcast.
another time.
Yeah, Mirror's Edge looking pretty good. We've got a release date.
Speaking of
we've had a release date.
yeah,
for
speaking of release dates, we got another kick-ass trailer. Final Fantasy 15 Stand By Me trailer. Holy shit! And it's kind of amazing because like the trailer states, there is a beautiful rendition in the middle of the trailer, as Fawwaz is trying to emulate right now with his sustained voice.
I could have helped it.
But it's such an odd choice for a song, but it and I loved it. I absolutely loved this rendition, and I really hope they use it in the game. I really do.
I don't know if I'll go that far, but it was very fitting because the impression I've gotten now, like I said, the last time we spoke about Final Fantasy 15, I haven't really been following this game a whole lot. But the impression that I have gotten from what I've seen is that this is a game about brotherhood. In fact, the anime that they also announced was called Brotherhood Final Fantasy 15. So this is a game about a road trip with four brothers. Well, four friends. Four really close guy friends who, become like brothers. So
become the
it was pretty fitting. It was pretty fitting. And overall, the game looks amazing. We got a release date, September 30th. I still cannot believe this game is actually coming out. I was just mentioning to you before we started recording, this game was announced before the PS3. I have friends that bought PS3s because of this game.
It is kind of shocking to see that we are finally actually reaching the release date. September is still kind of a ways away, but it's feasible.
Yeah, we have a concrete release date, and at this point, even if it gets delayed, heaven forbid, we've seen enough gameplay that we know it is coming out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's far enough in development that we know at some point we are actually getting this game. You don't understand, Tana. After a certain point, I think it was 2000, maybe 2010, 2011, I was like, this game is never coming out. Back when it was still Versus 13. Yeah. I was like, yeah, this game is just never coming out. Moving on to the next one. And then they announced it as Final Fantasy 15, and I was like, whatever, it's still not coming out. And now, we've seen gameplay. We got the demo, we got a playable demo, and they're ratcheting up the marketing, so hard to believe. Yeah. Now all that's left is for it to live up to the lofty expectations.
I will say this, as I've said before, I am way more excited to play as the Backstreet Boys. I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. And also one more comment just about the anime, which is kind of like a companion piece. I thought it was kind of funny because the 3D animation in the actual game is just so breathtakingly gorgeous that when you're watching some of the scenes from the anime, you're kind of like, it looks fine, I guess. Because it's just it's not even that the anime looks that bad. It's just in comparison to the 3D animation from the game, you're just oh, it's a bit of a downgrade. But it's a companion piece. What are you gonna do?
It just goes to show you how far video game graphics have come.
Yeah, it really does. The one thing that this game will have at the end of the day is that it looks gorgeous.
It looks stunning.
Yeah. So after that all awesome, let's talk about the elephant in the room that's been kind of spreading across the internet. So Blizzard censored Tracer in a way. It censored a emote, I think.
No, it's her win
post, sorry. And it's where she kind of turns her back to the camera and kind of shows her butt a little bit. But it's not like our Mika where she slaps her ass or anything like that.
So tame.
It's so tame, and it's And
I mean,
why don't you take this away?
Sorry,
you take this away. Take this away for us.
Okay, sorry. So what? Okay, I've got so many. You know what? Get comfortable, Tanner. I've got so much to say about this. Good. So first things first, I went on a rant about this with Jason a couple of days ago, and honestly, I didn't even want to talk about this on the podcast, but it's news and it's video game news, so I figured we'd have to touch on it. First things first, right? It's censorship, and I think I said this when the Armika thing happened. Censorship has no place in video games, right? Censorship has no place in a society where free speech is an amendment. You can't have both. You can't talk about free speech, but only free speech when I agree with what you're saying. It's ridiculous. Like, I mean, the part about this that confuses me, okay, so the full story here, right? Let me get a little more cohesive. Here, the full story: a player, one dude was playing the game, man or woman, it doesn't really tell us, but let's just say a dude. He was playing the game, and then he sent this letter to Blizzard talking about how he loves the game, he loves he loves the game, but he feels like the butt pose was out of character for Tracer. Now, that is a legitimate. I can definitely see where he's coming from with that, because sorry,
like from I guess I can kind of understand where that guy's coming from. Is like character wise, it is a little bit weird because Tracer's meant to be a little bit more silly.
Yes, the Tracer's sillier because he was like that. Widowmaker, for example, Widowmaker has stuff that, I mean, Widowmaker's costume. She's got like the cleavage line down to her belly button. She's got an over-the-shoulder wind pose as well, and same with Mercy and Symmetra, right? They've all got. I mean, I think almost, yeah. A lot of them have the over-the-shoulder wind pose. So like. I'm down for us. So yeah, I do see where he was coming from in that regard, right? But the other part of his post that made me roll my eyes was when he started talking about his daughter, his 12-year-old or 14-year-old daughter, and how she really likes Tracer, and this is blah blah blah. And I was like, well, first of all, this game is for 16 and over.
Yeah,
so
like
your
that,
14-year-old daughter's opinion is irrelevant. She shouldn't. If you are a good parent, she should not be playing this game. Like, it's that simple. If you are a good parent, your 14-year-old daughter should not be playing this game. Okay, sure, I can understand that she likes Tracer's personality and all that stuff. How about watch the animated series? How about watch the animated stuff? Buy her the Tracer figurine, buy her some Tracer stuff. Like, she's not posing with her butt out in any of that. So like that part really made me roll my eyes because it felt like such a cheap shot. It's like, oh, my daughter, my child, blah, blah, blah. I hate it when parents pull that shit. Stop using your child as an excuse. But okay. The other thing, Blizzard then decided to change it, right? They said they're going to change it, and they released a post talking about how they want everyone to feel comfortable with the game. This caused a shitstorm on the forums because people called it pandering. It's like, at the end of the day, not everyone is going to feel comfortable with the game. This is a game, and this is a game where your objective is to murder the other team. Let's just keep it real. Right? This is a third person. This is a first person shooter. If you are not shooting something, you are doing something wrong. So like you can't pander to everyone. A game that panders to everyone, a game that tries to appease everyone appeases no one, right? Yeah. So like that whole statement was kind of ridiculous. With that said, I'm not going to criticize Blizzard for changing it.
I can understand where it came from. Unfortunately, it just backfired horribly because it was kind of like they saw someone was kind of like not comfortable with it, and they were trying to avoid somebody making this into a bigger thing, so they tried to remove it, and unfortunately, it did the exact opposite. And the other thing that somebody pointed out is that the solution is just it's pandering, and it's just sort of like a wimpy solution to the problem. Like they could have done all kinds of other things. Like somebody in the comments said that they could have put more more sexual poses for some of the guys, have it balance out that way. Like they could have done so many other things to like try and fix this problem. And like hell, I'd be all for a sexy Hanzo pose. Like I'm not against that, like because that's the level of ridiculousness that this has. And honestly, like the thing that bothers me the most is that this is like a win pose, right? Like how long is this even gonna be on the screen?
It's on the screen for like 2 seconds.
2 seconds. Yeah. It's not like she's doing a sexy strip pole dance for like a whole 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's not like she's sitting there with her legs spread. And here's the funniest part about all of this, right? Tracer probably has the smallest ass in this entire game. Like that's the part that just makes me laugh. Is that it's not like this was this was, I'm trying to think. It's not like this was Armika that was doing this, and it was like, whoa,
like Armika, I could understand.
But like there is so little to even see there. I'm like, but okay, now I can just to play devil's advocate a bit, I can kind of like I feel like Blizzard, because here's the thing about that pose. Even before all this bullshit started, I saw the pose and I yawned, right? Because I was like, first of all, too many characters have the over the shoulder pose already. So I was like, this is such a boring pose, you know?
I way prefer her pose where she's sitting on the ground with like she puts. I think she takes her goggles and puts them on. She takes the
goggles off and
I like that pose. I think that pose is cool.
Yeah. That her win, like the over the shoulder looking over the shoulder pose is so generic. So truth be told, I'm actually happy that they're changing it, and this might be one of the reasons why they changed it, because they might not have been happy with the pose either. It was probably something that, and this is 100% speculation, but I can see this as a situation where because they put the pose in, but they weren't, it was like a deadline type thing. They put the pose in, and then when they heard complaints about it, they were like, well, it had been bothering them anyway. So then when they heard someone complain about it, they used that as a reason to then change the pose. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's Blizzard's game. They can do whatever the hell they want with it. If they agree with this person's assessment of the situation, then by all means. What does make me laugh though is that Overwatch, personally, in my personal opinion, Overwatch has one of the better collection of female characters in a video game. I mean, first of all, there are a lot of female characters, so like there's that in itself, right? But then on top of that, there's a wide variety. You have your stereotypically sexy character, like Widowmaker, but then you've got Tracer, who's goofy, outside of that win pose apparently. Yeah. You've got Mei, who's completely bundled up. You've got Farah, who's actually wearing armor, not video, not
who is the Space Marine chick who's really muscular?
Oh yeah, you've got Zarya, who's she's big and she's muscular and she goes against these stereotypical like really skinny female form. You've got what's her name, Diva, who's in a giant mech. So they've got a wide variety of female characters. So I'm like, if I'm not going to sit here and act like there are not issues in regards to the way women are portrayed in video games. I completely agree that there's problems. But to criticize Overwatch and then to criticize Tracer, it just seems like
that's the thing that bothers me the most. Is like Tracer is like my favorite character, and she's barely sexualized. The only thing that sexualized her was, and to a tiny degree, was this pose.
I don't even think the pose was sexy. Like, okay, and this comes down to perception, right? And this goes back to what I said about how tiny her ass is, right? So I looked at the pose. I just looked at it as, because like Hanzo has a pose where he's looking over his shoulder in the similar way as Tracer. So so when I saw the Tracer pose, I was just like, oh, okay, she's just looking over her shoulder. It's not like there's a Symmetra pose where Symmetra is like, she's like backing the camera and she's bending over. She actually looks like she's presenting. Like if that was the pose you were criticizing, then I'd understand. But the Tracer one, like Hanzo has an over the shoulder, Widowmaker has an over the shoulder, Mercy has an over the shoulder. Like almost every character has one of those, which is what I was complaining about. Like 76, Soldier 76 has an over the shoulder. Like just because Tracer's pants are really tight, all of a sudden hers is a lot worse. Hers is a lot more sexual. She wasn't even like, anyway. Yeah, it irritated me because there was just no precedence here, It made no sense to me anyway. Free world, this person is free to have the criticism of the game. That's the beauty of free speech, and that's the beauty of opinions. But I completely disagree with this person's opinion. I
just feel like this is just a case of like just a little bit too like, I feel like this is just like an over exaggeration of like the tiniest thing possible, and it's just like it annoyed me more than anything. I guess it annoyed me more because it's like I really like Tracer, and I don't think that there was anything really wrong with this in particular. Like I feel like this was just an overreaction kind of thing. It was very clearly that. Like
one last thing I want to say about this before we move on, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
So and this is more in general, right? I hate it when people criticize developers or even movies, right? I hate when they criticize movies for not being what they think they should be, right? Which sounds weird because like I criticize movies for being shit when I thought they should be movies, or I criticize Street Fighter 5 for being crap. But no, what I mean, right? And this is in regards like there was this whole thing in like 2009, 2010, where people were criticizing Disney for never having a black princess, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've never agreed with that kind of thought process. I love diversity. Don't get it twisted, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to make a movie featuring a black princess, more power to you. I'm not going to sit there and criticize you. But like I've never agreed with people forcing other developers to do stuff like that. For example, Final Fantasy 15, when they announced the cast, people criticized it because there were no women in the main cast. And I'm like, if this developer wants to write a story about 4 white men, then that is they're free to do so. If you don't like it, if you think every game should have at least 1 female character and 1 black character and 1 gay character, then don't buy the damn game, And then this goes back to another issue that I have, right? When people then start criticizing developers and forcing developers, I'm just going to focus on video games here, and forcing developers to do shit like this, then you start getting stereotypical characters, which I do believe is racist, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think a game having nothing but white characters is racist. I mean, the developer just wanted to have nothing but white characters. A game having a black character with a black face and red lips, that is actually racist and offensive, right? So then, and then you get situations like that when you start pressuring developers to include diversity, to include characters for this, to create a diverse cast for the sake of creating a diverse cast. Mm-hmm. Blizzard wanted to make a game with a diverse cast of characters with Overwatch. They did so. End of story.
They did. Right?
If they didn't want to, if they wanted the entire cast of Overwatch to be white men, none of us have any rights to criticize them or call them racist or call them sexist for that. Because if Blizzard felt like they had a reason for doing that, then who are we to tell them otherwise? And that's the last thing I have to say on this.
Yeah, fun times. Yay.
Fun times.
All right, maybe Jay Streets can save us. All right, question of the day. Question of the day from Jay Streets. All right, so Jay Streets asks us, even if Battleborn is the superior game, do you believe it will always or could be potentially outshined by Overwatch simply because it's a Blizzard game? I think I might take a swing at this first, if that's all right. My biggest gripe with just the whole situation is like Battleborn has, it has more content. There's more stuff to do, and it seems like it's going to be a bigger game in a lot of ways than Overwatch. But the thing that makes Overwatch, it's not just the fact that it's a Blizzard game. Like, that's part of the thing. Like, Blizzard, the name sells, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's companies who the name sells more than the actual game. Where it's like, oh, I'm going to pick up the new Blizzard game. I don't care what it is. I want to pick up the new Blizzard game. So that is a factor. But it also has to deal with the fact that there's a lot more charm in Overwatch than there is in Battleborn.
Yeah.
And that is the bigger issue. And obviously we've talked about many occasions about how the way that the Battleborn was marketed compared to the way that Overwatch was marketed, it's a stark comparison in quality there. So there's that to deal with. But honestly, it just has to kind of deal with charm. Is that like there are way more characters in Overwatch that I find more charming and I find more interesting, and that has to do more with a design thing. So I don't think the name does help Overwatch a lot. Like it gets a lot of people on board, but I think what's selling a lot of people on Overwatch is more the charm and the overall feel that the game has.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's more what's selling it, not just the name on its own. But what do you think?
Okay, so I pretty much agree with everything you said. One thing I want to add, though, is that, yes, to answer J Street's question, yes, I do think Battleborn will always be overshadowed by Overwatch. I do feel like when Battleborn launches and people play the game and people realize just how different it is from Overwatch, it might start to forge its own path.
Audience.
But as of right now, with the information that I currently have, I can just Overwatch will always overshadow it. And yes, like you said, part of it is because of the Blizzard name. Part of it is because of the marketing. Like Overwatch was marketed so. I mean, we've said this ad nauseum on the podcast, but Overwatch was marketed so much better than Battleborn. You know, everything from like the frequency with which they announced characters, the manner in which they announced characters, and then the closed beta. Like, they've been in closed beta since December. There's constantly been footage of people playing Overwatch on Twitch since December. I mean, I'm sure it's not pulling, like, the streams aren't pulling, like, league numbers. But it's been consistently on the front page of, well, not front page, because front page is only 5 games. It's consistently been on the main page of Twitch for a very long time now. And that's only going to get those numbers are only going to increase when the game launches. So there was that. Whereas on the other hand, Battleborn had a closed technical test that you weren't allowed to record footage in, you weren't allowed to stream it, and you weren't allowed to talk about. It's Blizzard have just done a much better job of marketing their game than Gearbox have with Battleborn, and as a result, I'm pretty sure Overwatch is going to outperform Battleborn sales wise. Now, critically speaking, that's another discussion for another day. Only God knows. But commercially speaking, I have zero doubt in my mind Overwatch is going to outsell Battleborn. Like, it's the first new Blizzard IP in a very long time. I mean, if you're not counting like Heroes of the Storm and Hearthstone, which are games that use characters from other Blizzard games, this is the first new IP with brand new characters from Blizzard since Diablo.
Yeah.
Like,
so, damn.
Yeah, exactly. The hype train. Yeah. Even if Gearbox had done a good job marketing their game, I don't think it would have stood a chance. But then, the poor marketing job that they did definitely isn't helping.
Didn't help things. The other thing that I will also point out is just going back to the name thing. It's like, obviously, the Blizzard name holds a lot of value.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really high-quality games that Blizzard has made. The 2K games name...
yeah, that's another...
So that's another thing, because it's like, 2 games, oh yeah, Borderlands, great.
Aliens, Colonial Marines.
Ooh.
Duke Nukem Forever.
But Borderlands?
Yeah, that's actually a very good point, because I've seen a lot of comments on a lot of videos for Battleborn. I mean, these negative comments have reduced as people have started playing the game and people have started realizing the game is actually a lot of fun. But back in the day when the game was announced, the first thing was it made me laugh. Like, Battleborn gets announced in like August, I think. Overwatch gets announced in November, and then Gearbox released a Battleborn gameplay trailer in like the early parts of the next year, and the comment section is full of people talking about how they're copying Blizzard. That just goes to show you the clout that Blizzard's name has. But I digress. The point I was making was that I see a lot of people in the comment sections just complain. They're like that, you know what, Gearbox, you fooled me once with Aliens Colonial Marines. You fooled me twice with Duke Nukem. You're not going to fool me a third time. And they just write this game off right out the gate. They're like, the only game I'm going to buy from these dudes is Borderlands. And yeah, that goes back to exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Sure, Blizzard have had some slip-ups, but even the slip-ups that Blizzard has had, Diablo 3's horrible launch, for example, they completely rectified it. By the time Reaper of Souls came to consoles, Diablo 3 was a very good game. Yeah. I bought that game and I thoroughly enjoyed it. People, sure, Blizzard murdered the competitive scene of StarCraft 2, but StarCraft 2 as a game is still a very good game. World of Warcraft, sure, a lot of people, Blizzard have made some changes to World of Warcraft that people didn't like. Popular for 10 years without the main company doing something right. Look at Hearthstone. Hearthstone, I mean, 3 years ago, I didn't even know what Hearthstone was. I was a Magic the Gathering fan. Now, I know nothing of Magic the Gathering anymore. Hearthstone came out and it did it right. Like, even Heroes of the Storm, that isn't really pushing the kind of numbers that I'm sure Blizzard hoped. It's not a terrible game. Blizzard rarely ever slip up. And when they do a very good job of fixing their mistakes. So there is that trust that gamers have with Blizzard games, that even if, heaven forbid, this game launches and there are like a ton of issues, I have faith in Blizzard that they're going to they're either going to launch a quality product or
Yeah.
at some point this game that is going to be a quality product.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that name, man, that name.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just when you're comparing these two companies, it's like it's not exactly the fairest fight.
No, it's really not. It's David versus Goliath.
Yeah, basically. But good question, J Streets. Keep them up. I always love it. So with that, we're going to have to wrap things up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And if you leave a comment in the comment section, make sure to answer it in the next podcast. And as always, this was your host, William Liberty, and...
Fawwaz Muhammad Yusuf.
See you guys next time. Take care.